Hello, bonjour, 你好，Anya, hola，我是你的 boy CP。Hello，say hello。Get that cabbage out of here.
What's good, everybody? This is CP and welcome back to my NBA fantasy series. I'm here to identify potential sleepers and undervalued players that have a chance to break out or outplay their draft positions. If you haven't watched my last two videos yet, please do so with the link below. Today we will take a look at the Pacific and Southeast divisions and identify one player from each team that should be on your fantasy watch list. So without further ado, let's get it. Jordan Bell should be on your fantasy watch list if you're looking for a center poised for big minutes early on in the season. With JaVale McGee and Zaza Pachulia gone and DeMarcus Cousins out for a big chunk of the season, Bell has very little competition for minutes early on. So don't be surprised to see him get at least 25 minutes as the starting center. Bell's per 36-minute stats sees him almost averaging a double-double along with 1 steal, 2 blocks, and 3 assists. These type of numbers should make him a top 100 to 120 fantasy player. With a bigger role in the Warriors lineup this season, Bell is likely going to put up new career highs in points, rebounds, blocks, and steals. His fantasy value should be very high early on, or at least until DeMarcus Cousins fully recovers from his injury, which might be near the end of your fantasy season. With DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin gone, the Clippers front court is wide open. Fresh off signing a 2-year, $12 million deal, expect to see the Clippers give Montrezl Harrell an expanded role this season. He is coming off a career year averaging 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist per game, with a 63.5 field goal percentage. He impressively put up those numbers with only 17.1 minutes of playing time a night. Harrell is playing behind a 34-year-old Marcin Gortat, so he has a good chance to gradually overtake the starting role as the season goes on. He can also play at the power forward position, which should warrant him some extra minutes as well. Assuming that Harrell can get around 25 minutes a night, we will likely see him have a breakout season. I could see him averaging around 14 points, 8 rebounds, and close to 1 block and 1 steal per game. In standard 12-team leagues, he is an excellent player to target in the mid-rounds if you want a versatile center with a steady stat line and potential to break out. Compared to his draft cohorts, De'Aaron Fox didn't have an outstanding rookie season, but he could take a huge step forward this upcoming year. The Kings passed on Luka Doncic to take Marvin Bagley at the draft, which shows that they're fully committed in making Fox the team's franchise point guard and primary ball handler. Adding a player like Bagley should open up the floor for Fox to bump up his assist numbers and get more easy baskets in the pick and roll. As a rookie, Fox averaged almost 28 minutes per game, so it's obvious that Dave Joerger trusts him with the ball. In Season 2, I expect Fox to average closer to 35 minutes per game and his usage rate to go up a bit as well. According to ESPN, Fox is currently ranked 35th amongst point guards in the NBA. In most 10 to 12 team leagues, he likely won't be targeted early on in the draft, which makes him an excellent pickup later as he has potential to finish the season as a top 20 fantasy point guard. With LeBron joining the Lakers, players like Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and Kyle Kuzma's fantasy value will likely take a hit. But a player like JaVale McGee might be someone on the Lakers who can outplay their draft position. McGee is currently penciled in as the team's starting center and should see at least 20 minutes a night. As of now, the only players competing for McGee's minutes is Moritz Wagner and Ivica Zubac, but both players are improvement at the NBA level and is not an immediate threat to McGee's minutes. If you take a look at McGee's per 36 minutes, you can tell that he is one of the most efficient fantasy centers out there. He doesn't need a lot of minutes to put up stats on the board. I don't think the Lakers will play him 36 minutes a night, but even if he gets around 20 to 25 minutes and spends time on the floor with good passers like LeBron, Lonzo, or Rondo, he could easily score 15 points, get 10 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 1 steal a night. Not bad for someone you can likely find very late in your draft or on the waiver wire in most 10-team leagues. Coming into Phoenix next season, DeAndre Ayton will be the team's starting center from day one. You won't have to worry about his playing time or his usage rate. On top of that, Ayton has very little competition for minutes, as neither Tyson Chandler or Rashawn Holmes should pose a threat. If Ayton can get around 30 minutes a night, I can see him putting up similar numbers to Karl Anthony Towns during his rookie season. However, managers should beware and not reach for him too early. Like all rookies, expect Ayton to go through some growing pains and cold streaks throughout the season. Depending on how your draft goes, I wouldn't take him super early, and I would wait until all the top tier centers are gone. It's still early, but I think Ayton will need at least 1 to 2 seasons to be considered an elite fantasy center. At best, he might be a borderline second tier center by the end of next season. John Collins put up pretty good numbers for an NBA rookie, averaging around 11.7 rebounds and 1 block per game, but it seems like he didn't fully reach his fantasy potential, and a lot of that had to do with the Hawks limiting his minutes early on. But coming into 2018-19 with a new coach and a little bit more offensive freedom, there's a good chance that Collins could increase his numbers to around 14 points and 9 rebounds a night, along with 1 steal and 1 block. According to CBS Fantasy Rankings, he's currently ranked the 14th best power forward, but we can't forget that he's only 20 years old, so his stats and fantasy value could take a huge jump for the next 2 to 3 years. In my opinion, projecting Collins to be a top 50 player next season might be a little bit too aggressive, but I could definitely see him somewhere in the top 60 to 75 to finish out 2019. I'm not gonna lie, I had a very hard time trying to find undervalued players on the Charlotte Hornets roster. But if anything, I would say Marvin Williams might be someone you want to target with a late round flyer. Although he's heading into his 14th NBA season, he continues to be a productive fantasy player. He's a versatile power forward who can put up stats in 5 categories, shoots above average at the line, and can put up more threes than your typical power forward. Williams was a top 10 power forward in threes made last year, averaging an impressive 41.3% from beyond the arc. Frank Kaminsky has been trying to take Williams out of the starting rotation for the past 3 seasons, but hasn't been able to do it. As a result, Williams averaged at least 25.7 minutes a night and missed a grand total of 11 games during the past 3 years. Williams can occasionally go on impressive hot streaks as well. Last April, we saw him average 14.4 points, 4 rebounds, and 3.2 threes per game. If you add all these things together, Williams can be a very valuable player in deeper leagues. So if you're looking for a multi-purpose power forward with guaranteed minutes, you can't go wrong with Williams. In terms of 3-point shooters, Wayne Ellington is one of the best kept secrets in the NBA. He was ranked 6th in total threes made last season and finished just behind Klay Thompson. Ellington made a total of 227 3-pointers and finished ahead of players like Steph Curry, Bradley Beal, and Donovan Mitchell. According to ESPN, he is ranked 26th among fantasy shooting guards, so it's safe to say that he's not on many people's radar. If you play in head-to-head leagues, having a player like Ellington can give you a shot to win the 3-point category every week. The Miami Heat don't have a lot of good shooters in their lineup, which is why Ellington averaged 25.5 minutes for the Heat over the past 2 seasons. During Ellington's best month last year, we saw him average close to 14 points, 4.1 rebounds, 3.5 threes, along with 40.4% shooting. So don't be surprised to see him put up similar types of numbers in any particular month next season. Jerian Grant hasn't had the most outstanding NBA career so far, but it's important to note that his career stats has gradually improved over the past 3 years. He is heading into his pivotal 4th year where a lot of players usually make a huge jump in production, and he has a great opportunity of doing that in Orlando. Grant is currently marked as the team's backup point guard behind DJ Augustin, and at this point in his career, Augustin is what he is, so depending on how the season goes, Grant could easily take over starting minutes. Grant's per 36 minutes in his career has always been decent, around 13 points, 6 assists, and 1.5 steals, but his former teams have never really gave him enough opportunities to succeed, as he only averaged around 18 minutes a night in his first 3 seasons. Assuming that the Magic gives him close to 20 minutes a game, he could possibly put up around 10 points, 5 assists, 1 3, and 1 steal, which makes him one of the more undervalued low-end point guards who can put up career numbers next season. Tomas Satoransky had somewhat of a breakout season in 2017-18. When John Wall went down, Satoransky took full advantage. As a starter, he averaged 10.4 points, 5.8 assists, 4.4 rebounds, and 1 steal, and was a top 100 fantasy player at times during that stretch. If last year was any indication, Satoransky has the ability to produce when he's given minutes. Standing at 6'7", he has the versatility to be slotted in as a shooting guard as well, earning him extra minutes on the floor. If anything, he could provide above average value for people who draft him late in deep 12 to 14 team leagues. At the same time, he should be a player you should have on your watch list all season long. Not only is he one of the best backup point guards in the NBA, but if any time John Wall or Bradley Beal goes down, Satoransky should be one of the first players for you to add. So that's 10 more players for you to have on your fantasy watch list. Which player do you think will outplay their draft position the most? Let me know in the comments section below, and if you have been enjoying my fantasy series, it would be greatly appreciated if you can like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see everybody next time.